Immediately after dinner, I stole from a crowd of company to a solitary walk to be at leisure to think of you. I have just returned to tell you by an express this moment going off that I've been doing so. You are certainly a little sorceress and have bewitched me, for you have made me disrelish everything that used to please me, and have rendered me as restless and unsatisfied with all about me, as if I was another inhabitant of another world, and have nothing in common with this. I must, in spite of myself, become inconstant to detach myself from you, for as it now stands, I love you more than I thought, more than is consistent with my peace. A new mistress is supposed to be the best cure for an excessive attachment to an old. If I was convinced of the success of the scheme, I would be tempted to try it, for though it is the pride of my heart to love you, it is the torment of it to love you so much, separated as we are now. But I am afraid I should only go in a quest of disquiet, that would make me return to you with redoubled tenderness. You gain by every comparison I make, and the more I contrast with others, the more admirable you are. But why do you not write to me oftener? It is again an age since I have heard from you. I write you at least 3 letters for your one, though I am immersed in public business, and you have nothing to do but to think of me. When I come to Albany, I shall find means to take satisfaction for your neglect. You recollect the mode I threatened to punish you in all your delinquities. I wrote you a long letter by your father. I suppose you will wait his return before you write. If you do, I shall chide you severely. If you do not write to me a very long and fine one by him, I shall not forgive you at all. I have written you a short letter since that. We are now at Dobie's Ferry. I would go on, but the General summons me to ride. Adieu, my dear, lovely, admirable girl. Heaven preserve you, and shower its choicest blessings among you. Love me, I conjure you. A. Hamilton. August 1st, 1780. To Elizabeth Schuyler. Impatiently, my dearest, have I been expecting the return of your father to bring me a letter from my charmer, with the answers you have been good enough to promise me to the little questions I long to see the workings of my Betsy's heart, and I promise myself I shall have ample gratification to my fondness in the sweet familiarity of her pen. She will be there, I hope, paint me her feelings without reserve, even in those tender moments of pillowed retirement, when her soul, abstracted from every other object, delivers itself up to love and to me, yet with all that delicately which suits the purity of her mind, and which is so conspicuous in whatever she does. It is now a week, my Betsy, since I heard from you, and that time I've written you twice. I think it would be advertisable in future to number our letters, for I have reason to suspect they do not all meet with fair play. This is number 1. May just came in and interrupts me by sending his love to you. He tells me he has written a long letter to his widow asking her opinion of the propriety of quitting the service, and that if she does not disapprove it, he will certainly take his final leave after the campaign. To see what a fine opportunity she has to enroll in the catalogue of heroines. I dare say she will set you an example of fortitude and patriotism. I know, too, you have so much in the pardon in you, that you will not be outdone in this line by any of your sex, that if you saw me inclined to quit the service of your country, you would dissuade me from me. I have promised you, you will recollect, to conform to your wishes, and I persist in that intention. It remains with you to show whether you are a Roman or an American wife. Though I am not saying expecting it, and without hopes this winter will produce a peace, and then you must submit to the mortification of enjoying more domestic happiness and less fame. This I know you will not like, but we cannot always have things we wish. The affairs of England are in so bad a plight there is no fortunate event to attend her this campaign. It would seem impossible for her to proceed in the war, but she is an obstinate old dame, and seems determined to ruin her whole family, rather than to let Miss America go on flirting it with her new lovers, with whom, as giddy young girls often do, she eloped in contempt of her mother's authority. I know you will be ready to justify her conduct, and to tell me the ill treatment she received was enough to make any girl of spirit act in the same manner. But I will one day cure you of those refractory notions about the right of resistance, of which I foresee you will be apt to make very dangerous application, and teach you to great advantage and absolute necessity of implied obedience. But now we are taking of times to come. Tell me, my pretty damsel, Have you made up your mind about the subject of housekeeping? Do you soberly relish this pleasure of being a poor man's wife? Have you learned to think a homespun preferably to a brocade and the rumbling of a wagon wheel to the musical rattling of a coach and six? Will you be able to see your perfect composure, your old acquaintances flaunting it in gay life, tripping it along in elegance and splendor? Will you hold a humble station and have no utter enjoyments in the sober comforts of a good wife? Can you, in short, be an Aquilian and cheerfully plant turnips with me, and fortune should so order it? You cannot, my dear. We are playing a comedy of all in the wrong, and you should correct the mistakes before we begin to act the tragedy of the unhappy couple. I propose you a set of questions, my lovely girl, but though they are asked with an air of levity, they merit a very serious conversation, for on their being resolved and all the affirmative stripped of all the colorings of a fond imagination, our happiness may absolutely depend. I have not concealed my circumstances from my Betsy. They are far from splendid. They may have possibly even been worse than I expected, for every day brings me fresh proof of the narrowly of those who to seem so those my little affairs are entrusted. They have already filed down what was in their hands more than one half, and I am told they go on diminishing it, till I fear they will reduce it below my former fears. An indifference so properly enters into my character too much, and what affects me now, at my Betsy, is concerned me. I should have laughed at it not, or not have thought of it all a year ago, but I have thoroughly examined my own heart, beloved by you. I can be happy in any situation, and can struggle with every embarrassment of fortune with patient infirmness. I cannot, however, forbear entreating you to realize reunion on the dark side and satisfy without deceiving yourself. How far your affection for me can have happy in providence of those elegance to which you have been accustomed to. If fortune should smile upon us, it will do us no harm to have been prepared for advisory. If she frowns upon us by being prepared, we shall encounter it without the charging of disappointment. Your future rank in life is a perfect lottery. You may move in it and excel it, you may move in very humble sphere. The last is most probable. Examine well your heart, and in doing it, don't figure to yourself a cottage and romance, but the spontaneous boundaries of nature courting you to enjoyment. Don't imagine yourself a shepherdess, your hair embodied with flowers, a crook in your hand, tending your flock under a shady tree, by the side of a cool fountain, your faithful shepherd sitting near, entertaining you with gentle tales of love. These are pretty dreams, and very apt to enter into the heads of lovers when they think of a connection without the advantages of fortune. But they must not be indulged. You must apply your situation in real life, and think how you should feel in scenes of which you may find examples every day. So far, my dear Betsy, as the tenderest affection can compensate for utter inconveniences in making your estimate, you cannot give too large a credit for this article. My heart overflows with everything for you that admiration and esteem and love can inspire. I would this moment give the world to be near you, only to kiss your sweet hand. Believe what I say to be truth, and imagine are my feelings when I say it. Let it awake your sympathy, and let our hearts melt in a prayer to be soon united, never more to be separated. Adieu, loveliest of your sex. A.H. July 4th, 1804. This letter, my very dear Eliza, will not be delivered to you, unless I shall have first terminated my earthly career, to begin, as I humbly hope, from redeeming grace and divine mercy, a happy immortality. If it had been possible for me to have avoided the interview, my love for you and my precious children would have been alone a decisive motive, but it was not possible without sacrifices, which would have rendered me unworthy of your esteem. I need not tell you of the pangs I feel from the idea of quitting you and exposing you to the anguish which I know you would feel, nor could I dwell on the topic lest it should unman me. The consolations of religion, my beloved, can alone support you, and these you have a right to enjoy. Fly to the bosom of your God and be comforted. With my last idea, I shall cherish the sweet hope of meeting you in a better world. Adieu, Best of wives and best of women, embrace all my darling children for me. Ever yours, A.H.